Um, the beautiful thing about depth is you get to send some lessons, right? You can sit people on the bench. And that matters. That matters. I'm a competitive guy, super competitive. I just told the radio, I'm so competitive that if Grace eats her cereal too slow, I'll finish her Captain Crunches for her, all right? And it's no excuses. Like, you want to get the food in your belly before I get there, because I'm gonna take Skywalker's pancakes. They're just eating too damn slow. And I just thought, man, we did not start the way we should have started. We had so many opportunities. Hey, look, the league is Saturday, Tuesday. You don't get to be good Saturday and not show up on Tuesday. You better be good Saturday, show up on Tuesday, grind it out, grit it out, whatever you got, rest on Wednesday, lather, rinse, repeat, let's do it again. That's what we're trying to prepare for. And these guys, like a lot of these guys still think it's sunshine and gumballs and it's fun time and everything. Like, it's going to continue to get shorter if the guys don't want to heed the message of what it takes to win. What it takes to win. It takes your whole being, man. It takes your whole being. Like, I'm hitting the scores table. Like, it's not that hard to break a press and to see down the floor and then to go finish a layup if you're tough enough. And I think Tom Izzo said this: players play tough, players win. Right? We got tougher in the second half. I was proud of. We got tougher in the second half, but we just played basketball in the first half. It looked like two teams out at the rec center. And I'm gonna always give credit to Austin P. Man, I love Gip. I've known Gip for a long time when he was at Missouri State. I'll give credit, man. He had those guys out, lathered, ready to roll. That press got us. Our guys weren't ready to handle it. It sped us up, and it could have sped us up in a good way where we could have broke it and went to go finish and then press attack, which we worked on. But it sped us up in a way where, our point guard had way too many turnovers in the first half. Our two seniors had 8 turnovers in the first half. Unacceptable. And, they know that. But I'll tell you this, Leland Walker was great on the bench. He was great giving energy to guys. And we're gonna expect those guys to be better. But the beautiful part about this team right now is we had some guys that were Buffaloes tonight, running to the storm. My big Buffalo of the game, and everybody wants to give a shout out to Uriah Rojas. I love it. He gets 6 or 7 trees. My Buffalo of the game is Demarion Dennis. All right. He was a plus 20 in the box score, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, 2 steals, 5 rebounds, 17 points, 8 for 13, and he played both ways. Defense and offense. This game is a two-way game, man. Even if you're a crappy defender, you got to grit it out, grind it out, and find ways to win with spacing angles, momentum. Like, you got to find a way to guard even if you don't have great feet. You can't just hide you. And he plays both ways, and he plays both ways hard. He plays the game of basketball the way I like it. Right? Now, he's a nut job in some other areas he's got to be better at, But he plays the game of basketball the way I like it, which is full tilt. I am a full tilt guy. Don't find me in Vegas. I don't have a limit. All right? Whatever I got in my pocket, it's going on the table. That's it. I can't sit there and be like, well, let me just work my way back up. No, I'm going all in all the time. And that's where these guys, they got to learn to be a little bit more full tilt. And I thought Dennis was great. I thought Abu, with a plus 22, once again, came out ready to rock and roll. And it's just his veteran leadership. And in our non-conference, he has to be able to continue to impose his will like he's been doing. And then obviously Uriah, from the offensive standpoint, was outstanding. And he only had one blow by in the second half where he didn't get to weak ball screen coverage. And then he got the foul pinned on him, the and one. But he didn't make it up with threes. We recruited him because he made 75 threes at Chafee, and we knew he could score. And we needed a guy who would be a weapon. We needed a guy with some gravity. And, I'm not afraid to play Uriah Rojas off the ball now. I'll play him off the ball with Leland Walker if we need to do that. Because if we got to have a guy out there spacing it, we'll play him out there like that. But from all the other standpoints, proud of our second half effort, not turning the basketball over. Only 5, I believe, in the second half. I thought this was going to be a game where we had 15 plus assists. We had 21, right? And so our helpers were good. We out-rebounded our opponent again. We did a great job defending the three-point line against a team that I knew could shoot the basketball well. Albeit we gave him a couple good looks. We got 10 of them off, but I think he got a couple good ones. He had some rushed ones. And then look, Zyree Collins, I give a shout out, man. That's a freshman point guard who at times was the best guard on the floor out there for a freshman. And that's not good enough for us if we want to have a chance to compete in the Mountain West. We're just talking about competing right now. We're talking about winning games right now. We're talking about competing. So the competitive effort for 40 minutes needs to be better. And the competitive execution for 40 minutes needs to be better. But I'm never going to be upset about a win, because there's only a handful of teams right now after today that are going to be 3-0 in the country. And we're going to play another one on Saturday in Portland, who's 3-0. And so This stuff doesn't get any sweeter. It just gets saltier.
So yeah, I guess going back to the turnover thing, what do you think changed, and how good is that experience of facing a team that presses that much for pretty much the whole length of the game?
They were gassed, right? Like I just kept saying, like you gotta put the pedal to the metal. You gotta bury him. You gotta bury him. They were gassed, and that's those guys emptied the tank, right? And it was a chaotic press. It's running, jumping, it's random, right? And so all you need is a couple good guards that can see down the floor, get the ball to the middle of the floor, and you're playing 3-on-2, and then you gotta make good decisions. And then you gotta have paint, and you gotta make good paint and good rim decisions. And so it's great for us because we're gonna have so many teach tapes of here's your paint decision. This was the layup you missed. This 2-on-1 layups, guys. This is back to when I was at Wyoming Elementary School in Mr. Koka's class, and we teach us how to play the game of basketball. And you start with 2-on-1, dribble, 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 jump stop, bounce pass, layup. And we're not even jump stopping and bounce passing. We're just missing layups. So it's like that to that point, that's toughness. In my mind, that's toughness. And so I just said maybe we got to be more like Houston and just not have any whistles in practice and just let guys clobber guys until they can finish it. Because the scouts out, like Nazmeyer, the scouts out. You're going to jump up, throw some circus shots up, and they didn't go in tonight. So teams are just going to wall up on you. You got to play off too.
How much did Rojas save himself by hitting a 3 after trying that lob at the end?
He got an earful from me. Okay. Because this is what young players don't understand, is that nowadays metrics matter. They matter. And nobody looks at whether or not you're just winning games. They look at how you're winning games. And that's the hard part about all these guys in the locker room. They want to have a chance to play in March. Well, I remember being here in 21-22 when we had to beat UNLV at UNLV in the Thomas and Mack on a neutral site, right? And if we win that game, there's a really good chance we're in. And we're the last one in the tournament because we win that game. Metrics matter. How you finish games, how you close out games matter if you want to have a chance to play in March. At any NIT, they look at all the metrics now. They just don't look at did you win your league? Were you good enough? Were you top? It doesn't matter. And so that crap, that's JUCO, man. And this ain't JUCO. It's the Mountain West. Those 2 more points right there, that's 16. Metrics matter. He knows now. And you can't be swayed by Dennis wanting to have some sort of weird highlight thing at the end. That's childish. We got to be more mature, and it's a race to maturity. I've told you guys that before. It's childish to do those things. That's like a football player running down the sideline, and instead of taking a knee and letting the clock run out, he starts putting the ball out here and not protecting it, and then the defensive player makes the hustle play and he knocks the ball out and it's a fumble. They may not lose the game because of that, but guess what? Metrics matter. Winning is hard. We celebrate in the locker room after a win. We don't celebrate on the floor with some sort of weird dunk that you think is going to make sports. That's not how we do it. That's not our program, and that won't be our program. So those guys know better now.
Coach, what do you think makes Dennis so efficient? How is he that efficient?
Metrics matter, Dion. Okay? We recruited him, and he was the most efficient player in the transfer portal. So, what things are known and what things are unknown? When you look at a player and you say he played 17 minutes a game at Christie, and he was one of the most efficient players, our GSO, our greatest stat of all time that we have, our metric, 3.9, greatest stat of all time, one of the highest guys in the portal. And the value-based buy right there. It's nobody's looking at him because he played 17 minutes a game at Corpus Christi, but that stuff translates. So if you do that in 17 minutes a game, I believe that if you play more minutes, you should increase efficiency. It should happen, all right? And it's the same thing, where you recruit guys and you say you're not going to transition a guy from a role player to a star. But if that guy is efficient and he does what he does, that efficiency can matter. That efficiency can happen. And so what makes him efficient is just who he is, how he plays. He's tight, he's twitchy, he doesn't have a lot of wasted motion. And that's a guy right there who just, like I said, plays the game of basketball the right way. And there's no fluff and stuff about it. He gets to his spots and he makes his shots.
How do you think he flew under the radar? How's a guy like that just...
We should be asking the question, how did we find him?
Yeah.
Not how he flew under the radar, right? How did we find him? We found him because of Moneyball. That's how we found him.
But even out of high school, he's not getting...
He came from he wasn't highly recruited out of high school because Texas is a big state, and you got to be a real guy. And so if you're going to Corpus Christi, and maybe he was good enough, but you look at him, his size doesn't woo you.
Yeah.
He doesn't blow you away. He doesn't win the eye test. You're not walking through the airport looking at Giannis. right? You're not looking at the Greek Freak. You're looking at the Texas two-step over there, all right? And I just think that's why we have a job to do every year. That's why we have to get guys like Nas, get guys like Gavin, get like guys like Dennis. Like we gotta find guys like Uriah. That Uriah was under recruit. Here's a guy that, you know, it was us in New Orleans, and he just comes into a Mountain West program and goes 6 for 7 from 3 in a game that's tightly contested. And you just got to trust your eyes. And there's some things about each guy that everybody could say, well, maybe you can't do that, or maybe you won't be able to do it at the next level. But man, we train them hard so that when the lights come on, like we want you to not default to, you don't rise to the occasion, you default to the level you're training. So we train you hard. So we put a lot of pressure, Leland puts a lot of stress and pressure on Uriah every day in practice. It makes it better. And that's the fruits of Leland Walker pushing him in practice, is that he has a night like this. And Leland was his biggest cheerleader today. And in the games where Leland's been hot, Uriah's been his biggest cheerleader. Pretty cool.
You mentioned that 21, 22 year. That was the last time Wyoming's been 3-0 to start a year. I'm curious, what maybe have you learned about this team through these first 3 games?
I got to fight. I'm having a heart attack because it's like raising teenagers. It's like I'm scared to death. Like what they're gonna. I'm not from what they're gonna do, but how they're gonna show up. Like they're just young guys with good, young, youthful energy, and sometimes that loosey-goosey, fun-loving energy is like, I don't think you're locked in. And sometimes I feel that, like I feel it shoot around sometimes, I gotta lock them in, and they probably think I'm just like hammer, nail, but I'm like, dude, I know what it takes to stay signaled, You gotta signal, bro. These guys don't even know what signaling is, but you gotta, I can signal at a high level. Like I can get in the office at 5 a.m. and I can rock it out all day long till 6 o'clock at night. I can rock it out 12 hours easy because I love this crap. And I've just trained myself. I didn't used to be like that. But as a player, I could do that. I could get in the gym and I could lock myself in there, and I knew what was expected of me, the standard that I had to hold. And so these guys, they got to signal more, man. They got to stay locked in more, especially when you're young and with all these distractions. They got the opportunity. A lot of these guys have the opportunity to just go take some minutes and to go impact winnings. But they got to stay locked in, and we're not an old veteran team, and that's not saying an old veteran team does better, but old veteran teams, if they're trained right, like they're pretty with it. They know what the deal is. They know what to expect night in, night out, and how to prepare themselves. These guys are still finding their pregame routine, figuring out what socks they're wearing. Am I going to wear AirPods down when it's my time, and then take my AirPods out in 60 minutes? So, like they're still screwing up their undershirts. Right, after 2 games now, the refs have told us, like, you're wearing gold. They have a gold undershirt, not a white undershirt. You were screwing up your undershirts. Like, so this is like teenagers. You got to dress them. Okay, like, this is the stuff we're doing, and it's a great fight. But I'm fighting every day. And it's like I just keep telling them, know who you're playing for, man. I'm maniacal. 20/20 vision, hear like an eagle. I see everything, I hear everything, and I want it that way. I love Wyoming so much, man. I told those guys, like, I will fight. I will go down swinging every corner, every corner. You got to just start throwing punches with me. Right now, we just start blindly swinging at everybody that comes across our path. And we're going to fight all the way till the very end. And I don't know how many games we're going to win. I don't know how many games we're going to lose. But I know this. We're going to swing. We're going to swing. We've got to start making some contact now, right? And so that's the story of tonight was we swung enough to get a TKO at the end of the game. But we could have had some knockouts at about the 10-minute mark. We could have had some knockouts at about the 18-minute mark in the second half. Yeah. And we let down our guard, and they got a good hit on us and took us to the floor. And so now we got to go up and get a decision. And so we can't be sitting here waiting for decisions. We got to get some knockouts.
We've kind of talked about it, Sonny, but how nice is it to Nas has an off night, Bennett's not scoring, and you just a couple more guys just step up and score.
I mean, this would have been this is another night, 3 guys in double figures, right? 3 guys in double figures, but. If we don't have 3, this is like at Green Bay, it got dicey when it was just Noah and we didn't have the second guy. It was going to get dicey. And once again, the possession game wasn't too skewed in our favor. It was only 4. But we're going to have more consistency, right? So I love the idea that we don't know whose night it's going to be. But we need consistency, too. Because I do need to know who's coming tonight. I don't want to sit there on the bench every night and not know who's coming.
Does that make you worried? Are you concerned at all about Leland so far early on?
No. I think Leland has to get Leland right? He's great in practice. He doesn't show any signs of that stuff. But like tonight was uncharacteristic. That was as uncharacteristic I've ever seen. For a guy who's a sure-handed handler, who's handled press and pressure his entire life, that was uncharacteristic. So I'm gonna give him that off night thing, and we're gonna tip the cap to Uriah and the people that showed up tonight. But that's got to be him and Mattia they can't have off nights, in my opinion, personally. That's the standard for seniors. They can't have all the nights.
I guess his shooting hasn't been. I know the other night you were joking about like he needs to take some tips from Abu how to shoot.
But it's the rhythm. He needs to reward the rhythm, and sometimes I think he makes the game too hard. Like he's a pretty creative dude, and I think he makes the game too hard sometimes. It's like sometimes the quarterback doesn't always need to scramble. You see, you sit back in the pocket and make the reads, and then let the game come to you. And we're playing with such pace and such thrust that tonight, like I told him, like you're playing way too fast. You're playing so fast it was like you had the wrong tires on the track, and you're sliding all over the place. And so he just needs to settle into it and let the game come to him a little bit more versus trying to force it and push it.
Is it cool to see this team be able to repel kind of that attack from the opponent? I mean, I think they got within 2 or 3 points like 5 or 6 times in the second half, and every time you just kept pushing the lead out.
Yeah, it was the difference, right, in where we are now versus last year. It's like if a team clawed back, it was going to be back and forth the entire time, and it wasn't going to be like and then sometimes it was going to snowball downhill, right? I think there's a competitive resilience here from these guys, but then again, it's our job to find the guys that are competitively resilient in the game at the moment. Uriah just hit the big shot after big shot after big shot, right? And he just kept coming back. And I know when he gets it going because he celebrates a little bit too long. I'm like, get your ass back. Right? Like, I don't need to see this crap. I'm tired of the 3 goggles and the 3 things. I don't need it. I don't need it. We need to get back and get a stop. But it is cool, Mr. Dion, to see the competitive resilience of these guys, because I think there's a belief in that we deserve it because of how hard we go, how hard we train. And so those who work the hardest are the last to surrender, aka old Mr. Vince Lombardi. Right?
Even though you only got maybe the RP 20 instead of 40 tonight, are you encouraged that these teams seem to be hitting the wall and your depth and style of play is getting them here?
Yeah, we got 80 tonight. I mean, we got 80 tonight, right? And 80 where if we don't turn the ball over, right, I just keep like 16 turnovers to it. Like you take half of those, right? We're scoring at what was our field goal? Like 40. So you take half of those, and you take 5 less, and you're scoring, let's say 2 of those, right? Now you're at 83 points, right? And then now it's just a little, like it's always a game in the balance, right? And then you don't screw up that last layup, and now you're at 85, right? Now you're closer to 90 than you are to 80. And so it's just like, these are the margins I'm talking about, the metrics and the margins of like just being able to play a little bit more intelligent and a little bit more tough. And we're going to keep teaching these lessons, because the one thing we don't do is shy away from it. We go to the teach tape every time. I keep thinking these guys probably keep thinking I'm going to come into film and just like have a smile on my face and a latte, And I'm coming in there like, this is our teach tape, man. Winning and losing are imposters. You start thinking you're good because you win, you lose. You start thinking you're bad because you lose, you keep losing, right? You're not always bad because you lose. Sometimes it's just a matter of the teach tape, it's a matter of the metrics, it's a matter of the details. And you're not always good because you win. And so we're going to keep hammering away at where we're at and go to it and keep building that competitive resilience. And we'll see what you guys are built for, because you got to be built for the scrap.
Free throw performance tonight, the margin of victory, big improvement over last time. Do they take the line serious this game versus regular practice? Do they do the same in practice as they do at the line?
Yeah, I don't think they don't take it serious. I don't think, because I don't see guys going up wanting to miss free throws.
Yeah.
Right? I don't ever think it's like, no player, in my opinion, no player goes up to the free throw line and goes like, oh, I sure wouldn't like to get these points. I think I should just give these away. Like I don't need these 2 points. Somebody else can have them. I don't think they go up there like that.
And let's hope not.
What's that?
Let's hope not, right?
Right. But I think they go up there with the idea of like, they probably put too much pressure on them. It's another shot, right? Like Mattia's performance was better after being 0 for 4. He was 3 for 5 tonight after being 0 for 4. Like that's an improvement. But the 0 for 1s, the 1 for 2s, these are paper cuts. Like just being able to go 2 for 2 at the line. Like Larry Shaq calls me all the time. We talk all the time. Larry Shaq. You don't get a ton of free throws every game. You get 2 on average, or 4, and so you better get your 2 down, right? Like it's just know you're going to get 2. You better get 2. And if you're a guy that happens to get a rhythm and you get 10 of them, you know, you get to go to the line like 8 times, like Nas did tonight. And you go 7 for 8. Like that's a good rhythm. And most guys don't get 7 for 8 from the free throw line. They get 1 for 2, or they get 2 for 2, or they get 3 for 4, or they get 4 for, like that's what you got to go for. I try not to over stress it about them, because I think if you add too much pressure on the free throws, I think right now like maybe I put too much pressure on their layups. You know, I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen these guys miss so many point blank layups. I've just never seen that in my life from college basketball players. It's dumbfounding to me. And so I can talk all night on it, but I think this is the era of embarrassment. It's an embarrassment era. Okay, so what's more embarrassing than anything in life? Missing a wide open free throw in the game of basketball. Missing a wide open layup. It's embarrassing. And these guys, they just didn't get embarrassed. You got cussed out back when I played, okay? Didn't get embarrassed. And yeah, you made your layups because you wanted to get cussed out. You made your free throws because like your grandpa will go, they're free. Make them. You know, like that's why you made your free throws. You didn't make, you weren't embarrassed. You're mad at you're like your grandpa's going to kick your ass, right? So you made your free throws. I remember coaching Will Eames, and his grandpa would come, and he with 2 free throws down at Newman. You know, Williams' grandpa's over there, they're free! You know? And Will's like, literally, like, doesn't miss more free the rest of the game. You know, like, maybe I need more grandpas in the stands. He's telling guys they're free. You know, but there's so, the embarrassment side of this, it's so unfair to be embarrassed. They're like, dude, don't be embarrassed. Be effective. Like, this is a game of basketball, man. Like, you're going to miss layups, you're going to miss dunks, you're going to, like, it's going to happen. Like, don't be embarrassed. Just get to the next one. Be tough enough to get to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, Coach, you spoke about Abu being plus 22 tonight. Do you look at him as kind of just like the definition of that everyday dude that you talk about, and a guy that just plays his role really well?
He is who he is. I told him he got to get 8 rebounds a game. That's what you got to be. You get 8 rebounds a game, and you're impacting money. Because we need a guy who can go get high figure rebounds. And Gavin's not there yet. He doesn't play with a consistent motor enough here. He doesn't play with enough force and ferocity to go get 10 rebounds yet. He doesn't play with enough to go get 5 rebounds barely yet, you know? Like he's getting 2 or 3 right now. Like Abu plays with physicality and force. And he's an everyday dude in that sense. He's still young in his basketball acumen and how long he's been playing. But yes, like he's just got to get better at the everyday execution. The everyday effort is beautiful. It's beautiful. But the everyday execution, that's where he can continue to grow. Still a young player. But we need him.
Not to draw it out too much more here, but do you ever foresee Gavin and Abu being in the lineup at the same time?
Both of them have to be better decision makers to be able to play together. So we want to play a big ball lineup. Like Gavin's a good shooter, he's not a great shooter. And so one of those guys now is playing 3 out, 2 in. Gavin's not physical enough yet to understand like how to play a 3 out, 2 in, high-low type of offense. You watch him, he floats. Right, I'm yelling at Gavin to get up to a ball screen or get up to a next, right? And he's floating out to the perimeter. And that's what happens when you're a freshman. You kind of get that deer in the headlights. Like, you got to embrace the physicality of it. And as their careers go on, like, both have to become better passers to be able to play off each other. Now, you could do a Gonzaga Euro ball screen type of offense and just screen roll and keep a continuity, but then you get pretty basic and teams just pretty much load up on you. So for those two to be able to do it, like, skill has to develop and physicality from both, and then being able to have to defend guards, right? Because everybody plays 4 out, 1 in nowadays. So one of those guys is going to have to be able to switch on to guards, and they're going to be hunting those mismatches a lot. Doesn't mean if they end up getting better, their weaponry ends up getting better, then they can be more dominant. But it would be like we had 2 big guys at Northern State, and all the Northern State fans. One is Carter Devins and Logan Doyle and all the old heads at the Millstone restaurant, the gray hairs. Why don't you guys play the big boys together? You know, like you don't understand, right? Like I'd love to, but like I just don't have enough time to explain to you why they can't play together right now. I'm just gonna tell you, it's a great idea. Maybe.
There's
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you.